Hi there, I care and you matter. I'm Shannon and welcome to my channel and welcome to another casual conversation where I give you a quick update on my life so far and how everything's going. I am tired. Last week I talked about how the last week of October, the first day of November is going to be the week from you know where. It's going to be the week from hell, I'll be honest. Call a spade a spade. But this week I was trudging along and it dawned on me, why am I allowing something that's going to happen, albeit a complete unknown, on Monday, and then something that's going to happen on Friday, which admittedly is going to be a 4 to 5 hour ordeal. Why am I allowing that to ruin my week last week, this upcoming week, and then all of that week? Oh, good Lord. And I am in control of that. I can either focus on those two things or I can choose to focus on something else. So I am going to be really intentional this week to hopefully plan some things during next week, which is the week from hell, so that there are some things that I can look forward to mitigate the stress, because there's no getting around it. It is going to be stressful. It is stressful to navigate unknown situations with Mark because he's a loose wire. He is unpredictable. No, he is predictable. He's predictable in that there's a lot he can't do. So yeah, I'm trying to be more positive about that. Not toxically so. I do not believe in toxic positivity. Again, I will call it like it is. It is not going to be fun. I am dreading it. However, hopefully I can time box that dread and not allow it to completely overwhelm me. Because it dawned on me that this constant stress level is not good for me physically, mentally, whatever. All of the things. So I need to be, in other words, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and you're hoping life is going to settle down. You're hoping you're going to be able to catch your breath eventually, whether that be mentally, whether that be financially, whether that be because of all the things you have to juggle. But the reality is, I've been going this way for a long time and I'm tired of it. Physically, I am tired of it, literally. I want off the roller coaster, and the roller coaster, despite how much I'm screaming, does not stop. And I laugh about it because what are you going to do? You're going to laugh or you're cry. So I need to figure out ways to enjoy myself through the roller coaster while I'm on the ride that I can't stop. So that's what this week is going to be about. And it might be that I purpose to get a bunch of work done at the beginning of the week, next week, so that hopefully I can maybe just take Friday off and just focus on that, because that is going to be at least 3.5 hours, probably more like a 5-hour ordeal. That's Mark's annual assessment, where the social worker comes to our home. We sit down. It is I don't want to focus on it, but it lasts that long. And then on top of that, I found out that his social worker wants to meet over the phone for about an hour or two with me this week, and God only knows when that's going to happen. So yeah, I'm kind of dreading that. But anyway, I am focusing on trying to find some positive things. So what are the positives? Well, I ordered a cart to make myself a little learning cart, or a book cart, to be read cart. And it came, and it was too big. And it was a gorgeous cart. I was so disappointed because it wasn't going to fit in the spot where I wanted it. Specifically, I wanted it to go near my nightstand. And I guess I should have known. I should have taken measurements, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. And so thankfully it was an Amazon purchase, so I was able to return it no problem. And after a couple days of searching, I looked at a couple places like Michael's and Office Depot and Joann. They were all about the same width and length. The height doesn't matter. Ideally, I'd like something 30 to 34 inches tall. And so that doesn't matter, but it's the length and the width. And specifically how wide it is. I need to get into a very narrow space. But the good news is I found one on Amazon. And I'll leave a link to it below if you're curious and check it out. It wasn't too bad either. It wasn't too expensive. It was under $30. And so I haven't put it together yet, but I'll report back on that next week. So I'm excited about doing that this week. But something else that has been really bumming me out is my in-laws were very kind, and they gave me, and I pulled it out to show you here, this really super cool vintage looking typewriter. It's not a typewriter, it's a keyboard, excuse me, and it's clicky. You can hear that. I love clicky. It makes me feel like I'm being productive. And it's Bluetooth, so you can hook it up to your computer, you can hook it up to your phone, you can hook it to a tablet, and so I did that. It's super cool. This dial can control your volume if you're listening to music. Honestly, I don't know what this part does, but it's cute. Anyway, love how it looks. It's got faux wood grain, and it's not cheap, I know. Oh wait, it does something. Yeah, it goes this way, but I don't know what it does when you do that. Anyway, love it. I hooked it up to my tablet. It's got a groove here to hold the tablet. It's awesome. It hurts like heck to use it. Again, you probably already know, I have psoriatic arthritis. And let's just say this is not exactly ergonomic, and it hurts my fingers. And factually, when I type, I don't hit the correct keys. So not only is it painful to use, but it just, it wrecks my productivity, because when I'm writing, I get into a flow state, and I actually type without looking at the keys. I look at my screen, like most people do. And with this thing, I guess because of the shape of the keys, I don't know. It just, I type so many errors. So I'm thinking, I don't want to just give this away. It's gorgeous. I love it. And I don't want my in-laws to think that I'm not grateful, because I do. I love it. So it dawned on me, well, why don't I just turn it into a fancy decoration? I see lots of writers on YouTube here who have vintage typewriters or whatever in the background. And so, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And if I can do that before I edit this video, I'll put a picture for you to see where I put it and how it looks. And so what I'm hoping to do is, like I said, I work inside a closet that I converted. This is my clothes closet that I converted into a little workspace. And because there's not a lot of floor space, it's got a very small footprint, I decided to keep the shelf. You can see this. That goes all the way around 3 sides of the closet. It's over here too. And so that affords me a lot more vertical space. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to prop this up some way, somehow, so that when I walk by my little office area to do laundry or whatever, I'll see this, and it'll be a reminder to me that, hey, that's the goal. That's where you should be focusing. That's what you need to be doing. And it is important, and it's good, and it's okay, and it's healthy to work on something that brings me joy. So maybe this will become an even more important tool, because it'll be a daily visual reminder, rather than the frustration of trying to make something work when it really isn't going to work. I love something I heard said a while ago, and it's, if you make a mistake, don't make another mistake trying to make it work, because when you do that, you're only drawing out the inevitable. And oftentimes when we do that, we waste energy, we waste time, and it's just not good. Know when to pivot. That's why it's always important to have a plan and a pivot. It's not that you're planning an escape route. It's not that you're planning on failing. It's that you're planning so that your first plan doesn't fail. If you have a pivot, you know what you're going to do if plan A don't work. If plan A don't work and you've got a pivot, then you're not going to sit down and, just accept defeat. No, it's not defeat. It's just, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next plan? And so, yeah, I'm hoping that this, because again, it's gorgeous. I just love looking at it. Well, it's going to be on my wall, so to speak, or on my shelf, which I'm really looking forward to. Something else I'm very disappointed about myself is I have failed. Well, up here, you can see there it is. My first book is done. I got my printed copy, my print-on-demand copy from Amazon, KDP, as well as Ingram Spark right there. And so I have that up to remind me, hey, you did it. Good job. Keep going. Because, well, little tidbit, the algorithm on Amazon really likes rapid release, and the more books you have in a series, the more the chances are of Amazon suggesting your books to potential readers and buyers. And that's what I'm up against right now. I really enjoyed the process of writing and editing and designing the cover, but now that it's out there, it doesn't matter how great a book is. No one's going to buy it if they don't know it's there. And so I'm looking at marketing ideas, but frankly, I don't have a lot of money to spend for marketing. I can't afford Facebook ads. I can't afford Amazon ads. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to do it for fun right now. And I'm going to try and get a couple more books out. But I guess maybe that's been discouraging to me. And so, long story short, or actually, long story long, I haven't gotten back into the writing. And that's only creating more frustration because I've got the second book halfway done. And I like the story in the second book even more than the first book. And I really like the first book. And I'm thinking, okay, oh yeah, there's been a lot going on in our family, as you know, if you watch my videos. And so I'm trying to have some grace with myself. However, I don't want that grace to become an excuse. But I know I'm going through a lot right now because I feel it in my body. I've got the tension in my neck, my back hurts, my hands hurt, my arthritis, I'm still on a flare, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, so I've got to start doing better so that I can feel better. And I told my husband this morning, we kind of had a come to Jesus meeting, and I said, I don't want to just make do. I'm done making do. I want to do better. I want to make better. I can't affect the situation, but I can certainly affect how I respond, and I can be intentional about things. And something that hurt a little bit this weekend. My in-laws, which love them, but they made a comment that our life will not get any better until our son Mark moves out. Quick tidbit for those of you who may not know me. My son Mark just turned 18 in August, and he has a multitude of profound special needs, both developmentally, medically, physically. He's not wheelchair bound, but he has severe Ehlers-Danlos, which limits what he can do, and just he tires so quickly. He has a congenital amino acid metabolic disorder, which requires a specialized diet. He has GRIN 2B and neurodevelopmental disorder. He has long-term short-term memory disorder, or long-term short-term memory loss, communication disorder, processing disorder. He often says the opposite of what he actually means. And then if you try and correct him, he gets aggressive and argumentative. It's a lot. So, admittedly, I know where my in-laws' heart was coming from. They're not wrong. The stress of parenting somebody like this takes a lot of stress on my husband and I individually. It puts a strain on our marriage because, in the 15 years that he's been in our home, he's adopted. We adopted him when he was 2.5. We've never been able to go on a vacation together, no anniversary trips, no nothing. If you watch an old video, you'll know the desperation I had. I was so excited. My husband snuck 2 cupcakes home from a little bakery close to where he worked in downtown Seattle. And my husband got 2 cupcakes home on the bus without being smushed just to share with me. And I could cry. It just made me so happy, the fact that he did that. Not that it was a cupcake, but that he went to that effort to try and find a way we could have a special time together. And we were eating them in our room later that night, just the 2 of us. And our other son, who is typically developing, comes pounding on the door. Hey, you guys in there? And I yelled, I'm naked! Because 1, I didn't want to share my cupcake because that was special. And 2, it's odd that that was the first thing that came out of my mouth. But I knew Nate wouldn't storm through the door if he knew Mom was naked. So, hey, it worked. But getting back to my point is there's a lot of stress in our home because it's hard to parent somebody with special needs. It's hard to be a caregiver 24/7. I have cameras in the hallway of my home. I have cameras in my living room. Why? Not to look out for intruders, but because Mark requires 24/7 care. And in fact, he sleeps with his bedroom door closed because the hall camera will turn on and notify us in the middle of the night if Mark is up. And yeah, he has to go pee sometimes. And yeah, that wakes us up. But he's been caught wandering around the house, and you just don't know what he's going to do. Anyway, suffice to say, I get where my in-laws are coming from. However, it's not productive. It's not helpful because I've looked into some of the places where Mark could go and live now that he's an adult. But one, the ideal place that I want, I would like him to be with typically developing, or excuse me, not typically developing peers, but peers, people his own age of the same developmental abilities and needs. But that ideal place does not exist. And the places that do are expensive. So it's not as easy as saying, "Oh, it'll be so much easier for you guys. It'll be so much less stress when he's not here," because, well, it's going to be a different kind of stress. And so I did find out that I can be employed, so to speak, as Mark's individual provider, which means I will get paid a certain amount of hours each week. I have to fill out a timesheet. There's a lot of work. I have to complete training that's required. I had to submit to a background check, fingerprints, all that good stuff, despite the fact that I'm his mother. And I'm fine with doing it. That's fine. So I will be getting some pay for caring for him now that he's over 18. So what I'm hoping to do is use that money to help meet some of the additional needs we have with Mark, but also find ways to give my husband and I some respite. And I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but I'm trying. In other words, I'm trying to make the best of a stressful situation. And hearing somebody say, "Oh, it would be so much better if this could happen." But duh, that can't happen. It can't happen for Mark's sake, and it can't happen for us right now. Right now, this is the reality of our situation. And I guess, again, trying to make the best of it, and being open to accepting reality rather than fighting it, because I don't have energy anymore. If there's something in your life that you can't change, you know just as well as I do that when you just wish, it doesn't do anything, but it's a circular reasoning. You're in an echo chamber. And my dad, I think I've shared this before, my dad would say wish in one hand, crap in the other, see which one fills up first. And he didn't say crap. And he wasn't wrong. That's good advice. I'd rather stop wishing because I'm not afraid of putting in the work in order to try and make things better. So that's my update for this week, and I hope I am this pragmatic about it next week in next week's update video, because that I will be on the eve of the week starting. Gratefully, Monday Mark has not this Monday, next Monday, the 28th. He has a interview with the Social Security Administration regarding disability and his supplemental security income. And they're going to ask, it's an interview. I don't know what they're going to ask Mark. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know if I'm allowed to help Mark, but I'm going to be there to hopefully explain if he doesn't understand what they're saying, the questions. And it's at least it's over the phone. It's not in person, and it's in the morning. So that's a positive. You don't get to pick your day and time. It was assigned at 10:45 in the morning. So I'm grateful for that, because that means that hopefully we can get it done in the morning and I can let that go. Because I don't mind doing hard things. I don't mind doing things that I don't know. It's just, and oftentimes it's the dread. It's the lead up. It's the time you have to think about it. Oh, I was so grateful that my hysterectomy ended up being a somewhat emergent surgery, because you know what? I didn't have time to dread it. I didn't have time to wonder. I felt horrible. It needed to be done, and it needed to be done right away. But I was grateful because I didn't have time to dread it, because oftentimes what we conjure up in our own heads is worse than the reality. So, yeah, that's important to remember. So I'm going to try and live in the now and take each day as it comes, so that I don't ruin each day as I get there. And so I don't ruin Tuesday through Thursday of next week. Though I'm not going to lie, I'm so looking forward to November 2nd coming, because then, so much of it will be done. Thank you for listening to me ramble if you've watched this far. And if you're facing something like this, I hope you've taken either some encouragement from this, knowing that you're not alone, and maybe some advice. Don't dread so much that you ruin every single day leading up to something. And don't let mind monsters linger in the dark and grow in the dark inside your own head, because remember, the reality is often easier than what we dream up in our own head. And if it's not, well, you might not be able to fix the situation, but you can always be intentional about your response to it. So there you have it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.